So the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, is the central repository of intelligence analysis. That's where the central intelligence comes from. It means that all intelligence agencies, what we call the IC, the intelligence community, which includes all of DoD, NSA, FBI, NRO, NGA,
DIA, everything,
yeah, you name it, right? Even IRS has a counterintelligence arm that creates intelligence that gets filed into CIA archives. So at the center of this giant intelligence community is the Central Intelligence Agency, which was really only created in like the 1940s, I want to say, so that it could create a single brief that goes to the chief executive of the country, the president, and that is the president's daily brief. So all source information is centralized, synthesized, analyzed, and turned into a readable format that goes to the president every day with the president's daily brief. That's what CIA was built to do. Now,
he could take action off of that.
Yeah, and so he could make policy decisions off of that. Now, over time, what happened is CIA also expanded into other areas of utility because it became an agency of last resort, meaning when DoD couldn't do it, when NSA couldn't do it, when DIA couldn't do it, when FBI couldn't do any mission, CIA became that agency of last resort. So at that time,
which is why we call covert action the third option, right? You get diplomacy, military action, covert action is like
exactly.
Yeah, that's
the third option, the last option, right? That was traditionally how it was viewed. So it became this agency of last resort, which they then decided to split between a law enforcement element and a intelligence element. The law enforcement element of last resort went to FBI. Law enforcement means enforcing the laws of the land. So inside the continental United States, operations are governed by the FBI. Everywhere else in the world, it's the CIA, right? We're the agency of last resort outside, OCONUS. Does that mean CIA only runs operations overseas? No, it means CIA only runs primacy overseas. If CIA runs an operation in the United States, it has to be in concert with FBI, which usually works in concert with local police and local law enforcement.
JTTF or
right.
Joint Terrorism Task Force.
Correct.
Yeah. So there's agency representatives on those JTTF, which are, like you said, in conjunction with local law enforcement as well.
Right. The president, the institution of the president, the institution of the executive, the chief executive, created different presidential authorities. And those presidential authorities are really nothing more than carve-outs that allow federal agencies to break American laws. That's what an authority is, right? You and I as American citizens don't have any authorities. So we have to follow American law or else, deal with the consequences. CIA can break American laws. FBI can break American laws. NSA can break American laws. All the intelligence community has certain authorities granted to them, which allow them a legal carve-out to break a certain law in order to serve national security interests. So for example, Border Patrol and Customs and Border, they are able to actually clone any device at the border, whether it's an American citizen or a foreign citizen. They can clone a device at the border. That's one of the authorities granted to them, even though it breaks privacy laws under U.S. laws, right? But the reason they have that authority is because there are times when it's in the best interest of national security to clone a device surreptitiously, clandestinely, without the owner knowing it. CIA can't do that. FBI can't do that. DIA can't do that. Marine Corps can't do that, but Customs and Border can. And then with that information, they can send that to the CIA, where FBI sends different intel, where NSA sends different intel, all according to their different authorities. And now CIA can create a packet of truly secret information that gets shared with the president about any number of national security issues.
When I was at JSOC, a lot of our operations internationally had bad actors that were in the United States. And so there was, sometimes we would have some of our operations would happen here in the United States. But there was a lot of training and some strict protocols. One was called posse comitatus laws, right, which prohibited U.S. military from collecting on a private citizen, and taking action against a private citizen, even taking a picture of a license plate of a private citizen. Do those same laws extend to the Central Intelligence Agency?
Absolutely. And it's one of the things that people don't realize is that operations in the United States are so difficult because our laws protect citizens first.
Right.
Well, we're also one of the only countries in the world where anybody can become a citizen. So bad actors, dude, explain that. It's so frustrating. That's exactly right? Like somebody with nefarious intent just has to find a legitimate job or even make a legitimate job, spend 3, 5, 7 years here, file for a green card, whatever else. They can be here under no intentions of ever being a contributing member to society. They're there specifically to do harm to the United States. But if we want to collect against that individual, we fall under a strict rubric of laws, including like telling that person who we really are affiliated with if we ever actually talk to them in person.
Much different than the Kremlin or ISI or, foreign intelligence agencies, right? They completely, collect on their citizens.
Right. There's secret police in most authoritarian countries. There are no secret police in the United States. Yes, I get conspiracy theorists will say that there are. In reality, the vast majority of money and effort goes into doing it legally, because at the end of the day, we can't take illegal action unless we can show through a series of legal steps in front of a court of law that the repercussions that we're seeking are viable, right?
And even with all that, the American people, large in part, has lost trust in the federal government, especially our three-letter agencies, including the CIA. How do we get that back? Like, I think it's important for the American people to have trust in our federal agencies, especially our three-letter agencies, and feel like, because the truth is, even with the things we're talking about, at least I personally believe that many three-letter agencies have been weaponized against citizens and have certainly been weaponized against political opponents. So how do we, with all that's happened, how do we regain the trust from the American people?
Yeah, there's a couple things working against us. First, these are secret organizations. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's always going to be secrets, and nobody trusts somebody else who they know has secrets that they don't have.
Sure. Right?
Like secrets keep us apart. Mm-hmm. They don't bring us together. Even though we all have secrets,
right?
We could bond over the fact that we all have secrets.
Even though it's necessary.
Right.
It's very necessary for the CIA to have secrets.
Absolutely. And everybody, right? It's necessary for Iran to have its secrets. We shouldn't distrust them just because they have secrets. We shouldn't distrust our neighbor just because they have secrets. But we do. That's human nature, going back to what we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
So that's working against us at all times. CIA is always going to be a secret organization. The American people are never going to know what CIA really is, what CIA really knows. So we have to accept that.